Ardor, next friends, we are igniting the blockchain. Again, here on Ardor Day celebration, this is the crypto woman, otherwise known as Elizabeth, and this is Alex Pfeiffer. Alexander Pfeiffer is the head of the Center of Applied Game Studies at Donau-Universität in Krems, Austria. And he is joining us today to talk about exciting projects that are actually already in the works. And there are several of them. But first, Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Hello, Ardor family and next family. My name is Alex Pfeiffer. As Elizabeth just said, I'm heading the Center of Applied Game Studies at the Donau-Universität in Krems. We have in total like 9,000 students, 200 of them at my center. And at my center, we have quite a nice research and development department for some state-of-the-art, beyond state-of-the-art technological and projects, always a bit or always connected with media and game studies. Besides that, I'm the owner, 25% owner of a technology company in Austria, also trying to experiment with new technologies and make some usable stuff for the future. My background is, I have a master's degrees in sociology, economics, and media and game studies. And basically for the crypto world, I would say sociology is the most important at the moment. My technological background is what life taught me that I have to know about it. And there I don't have actually a degree, but there are some things in life that you can just learn to yourself, and you don't need a university to do this.
That's especially true with blockchain, isn't it?
Especially with blockchain.
Anything to do. We all have to be self-learners and self-starters in that right now.
That's true, yes.
Yeah. So, well, that is really exciting. What is it that made you discover NXT, Ardor, and what made you stick around?
My first experience with blockchain technology is actually from the dark side approach, like most of the journalists have now in end of 2017, but that was in 2013, 2014, and I was writing a book called Game Crime, where I took a look how, for example, how is money laundering done, selling virtual goods from World of Warcraft. And that is where I encountered Bitcoin and where I encountered mixing systems to cloak your steps. It's something that now in the year 2017 that would be very silly to do money laundering on blockchain coins like Bitcoin, but at that time 2013, 14, it was a good approach and my first steps into the world of cryptocurrencies. Like more than a year ago, it made a ding in my head, so to say, and I encountered blockchain as technology and computer-to-computer interaction, smart contracts, smart transaction, and so on. And I tried to discover a lot of different systems and work with them, like Lisk, like Waves, Ethereum, of course. And then, wow, I found Ardor and the Ardor testnet and the possibilities you can do with Ardor, and especially how it is built on, so that of course we had NXT, you can do a lot of stuff with NXT, but now as Ignis is the new NXT and it got a daddy called Ardor, and that is taking care of all the verifications, for me as conceptionists, it's a whole new way how I can concept my ideas for gamification, for gaming economic systems, and so on, and to consultant people that like to use blockchain technology. So basically that I do some consultancy and that I'm actually working at the moment, I would say, on 7 concrete projects. That's again happened a bit by accident. I was just talking or starting years ago to talk about the subject, and half a year ago people came over to me and, hey Alex, you were talking 2014 about blockchain. Maybe you still have a clue how it works. Can you help me now? And this is how the exciting Ardor and NXT project this year in Austria started. So it was not planned, but I'm very happy to be part of the big family.
Yeah, well, we have to talk about some of your projects, but first, can you give us an idea about how game studies and cryptocurrency work together, how they could interact?
I think you can interact it from 2 different perspectives. one perspective is the social science perspective, so where game elements take place, and the other perspective is the technological perspective. Let's start with the second one. I think two parts are very exciting to work with blockchain technology. One thing is the whole gamification super hype we had since 2012. And you know, with gamification, you can go for achievements, you can go for badges, and then you can, for example, use your badge to get a cup of coffee. Very simply spoken. But now when you build gamification systems based on blockchain technology, you have the secret ingredient that I always have in my talks, which is objectivity and transparency for the gamification approach. So you can trust the system, you can trust that the achievements you did during the gamification approach are so to say true or real done, not cheated. And on the other hand, when you connect your badge that you give to people to a real life achievement, like the very simplest thing, again, a cup of coffee, you can prevent double spending. So for example, one project that I'm writing the concept at the moment is a gamification approach that will take place next year in Austria. We encourage people to spend cryptocurrencies in shops in Austria using the Ardor ecosystem. And there we have a gamification framework, and on the one hand spending Litecoin, Bitcoin in the shops, and on the other hand going for certain quizzes, going for an alternate reality game, generates a cryptocurrency called Alps. But I don't know if this is the final name. However, if you collected a lot of Alps, you can use them to purchase unique items in the shops that you cannot buy with fiat money or other cryptocurrencies. And so when we make these quizzes or when we make alternate reality games and the people get the badges, and they now can change the badge for the gift, and then it's unique that, or it's that the owner of the badge gets the unique item, and it's not possible that the item is spent for two different people. If you know what I mean.
How big of a problem is that right now? For instance, on some of the phone apps that we have right now that are gamified, where you earn badges maybe for physical fitness or taking a walk or something. How prevalent is cheating right now? How easy is it to cheat?
Well, it always, if you make a gamification approach where you can really earn a real life gift, so to say, or you can go for the big prize, then it is very important to make uncheatable system. If you have a fitness app that you use just for yourself, where you just see the badge for yourself and you cheat the system, then you have to decide for yourself if you like to be a cheater in this space. But talking about game studies and blockchain, the other big part is creating 100% self-serving ecosystems. So for example, this is another project that will be taking place in 2018, 2019, is that we're going to create an esports game where people can participate, actually paying gaming tokens like you know from the 1990s at card machines. So you go and you spend some money and you get the plastic token. In this case, it's the blockchain token to play the game. And this token is not tradable on Poloniex or Bittrex. It's just for these gaming ecosystems. And on the other hand, people that help to keep the gaming environment alive, for example, hosting the game, rerunning on a virtual machine, the high score lists and so on, they get also rewarded with these gaming tokens. And the buyers that just want to play the game, they don't buy it on Poloniex or Bittrex, they buy it from the people helping to keep the gaming ecosystem alive. So basically, to explain especially this system, I think it would take 5 or 6 hours, but with this system, we have a 100% closed circle, again, using an Ardor child chain. And this would be like a big rocket for independent game designers and so on to launch their game and to keep the game running. And actually, it's then a community-driven game. So they get
more of a reward for obviously doing the work.
Yeah. So like when you help being part of the system, then you get rewarded in tokens to play the game and to enter the gaming competition where you need the token to enter the competition. From the social science part, I discovered some ways or some relations. One I simply, for example, call the game for the Bitcoin name itself. This is a classic game theory. The Bitcoin as a name is under attack, so to say, from, as you know, Roger Ver and Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Diamond and so on.
Yeah.
So this is a big game. Who is the owner of Bitcoin, of the name, of the brand?
That could be very popular.
Who is confusing the people the most? Then, of course, we have little games on the blockchain like CryptoKitties on Ethereum and collectors games. Then we have, for example, the game Betting on the Future with a platform called Ardor. It's also based on Ethereum, where you can, like one is proposing a question about who is going to be the next president, and the crowd can bet who is actually going to be the president. So it's a crowd knowledge bet that it's on blockchain. We have the game with the attention economy and the platform wildspark.me, which I really like. We have esports on the blockchain. We have all the gambling machines on blockchain technology. Then, of course, the game who is going to forge or mine the next block. This could also be seen as a gaming environment. So who has the best computer?
So where do you get your manpower, your brain power? Or do you act? I mean, I'm sure as the head of the Center of Game.
I have a really good team, and basically my core team from the university are also the people running with me the company, and then I have approximately 200 very gifted students. And what we always try is to get the most gifted students to join the team later, after they finish the masters or even shortly before. And that's a good thing. I'm working with people from a lot of different fields at our game studies classes. And so maybe 50% of the ideas come from us, and 50% of the ideas what we're going to do come from our students. And one of the nicest ideas recently was that next year in August, we are going to make a hackathon at the Donau-Universität, especially for friends of Ardor, NXT, and Ignis, but of course everyone is welcome. And our idea is that we are not setting up the hackathon as a competition. It's usually that you have like 7 to 10 teams competing, for example, making a serious game on mathematics. In this case, we want to give one goal for the whole group. So, for example, if we have 5 Java developers, we have 5 usability designers, 3 graphic designers, 1 project manager, 2 marketing guys, and then, for example, we tell them in half a year, you have space, we like to see a child chain on Ardor, and this should be crypto penguins. And then you make a collectible game about penguins. You're not competing with each other. You have 3 days to show us that you as a group of 30, 40 people can deliver such a game in 3 days.
That's nice.
I think this is a new approach. And I'm looking forward, hopefully, to meet you and to get Lior and to get Trevin to Krems for those days and to invite you to come. So we have Ardor and NXT family in Krems next
on my
summer.
calendar.
and we are kind of the judges, and we are also giving the people the goal, what is going to happen if they achieve and make the game. So, for example, we say, now we support you as a group to get the game economy running and to support the game with marketing activities and so on. We have half a year from now.
The end result could be a very serious project.
The result should be, hopefully, a very serious project.
I think that's wonderful, that it's not just a theoretical, but that it's actually practical and something that we can actually enter into with the idea that we might actually be implementing this. I think that's awesome. Yeah.
I think that would be the best prize for such a competition, that the students are going to make something that might have a real life impact, or that people might tweet about it, might use it.
Yes.
And I think this is something pretty cool we're going to do on Ardor in half a year from now.
It is pretty cool. It's actually very cool. So I want to know, why you picked Ardor, Ignis, and NXT.
As I said before, it's the architecture, how Ardor is built. If we go again one step back to gamification, so now really I just use a brand name for imagination, not a real brand name. But let's take a big supermarket chain and they want to build a loyalty program on blockchain. Okay. If you do that, so at the moment you have to either use the original currency of the blockchain directly one-to-one as the loyalty points you give them, but then you cannot rename the loyalty points. And if Aldi supermarket gives Ethereum loyalty points, and then there is this big price change every day, so you cannot do it. If you make a sub-currency, your own IRC20 token on Ethereum, and now imagine a loyalty program, everyone using the loyalty program would need Ethereum to actually use the loyalty points. But with Ardor, you can now make a loyalty program, for example, and you can make a bundling account, and you as an issuer pay the transaction fees, and your customers, your clients don't even know that they're using blockchain technology. And this is basically what I thought was the biggest issue with all systems I went through. And Ardor, with its very special technology, with the child chains, already, as we saw on testnet, working perfectly, is solving all these big issues other systems have, or even like with CryptoKitties, congesting 20% of the blockchain just with a cat game. If I would be a developer of a multi-million-dollar blockchain project that is coming out in 3 months, and I see that the lovely cats, I like them, I also collect the cats. I think it's the best application on Ethereum right now. and like, oh my God, I'm competing with CryptoKitties on fees I have to pay to get my project running.
Yeah.
And then I could simply do this as an other child chain, and I have the costs in good calculated. And there are even some nice approaches, like from Trevin Keith. I'm not going to talk about it in detail, he should do it, but he's also solving this big issue that I had now consulting companies that were asking, and can I get an invoice?
Oh.
You know, you cannot tell companies, hey, go on Poloniex, spend 100,000 euros on Ardor to get like 100,000 Ardor. And with that, you have your bundling account ready, and you can also forge to get new tokens while also running your own system. And I think Trevin is working on this awesome approach at the moment, and I hope he's going to announce it soon to the public, how his child chain will help to close this gap in working with companies and governments, and to basically be able to give them an invoice for the
to extract information from the blockchain that tracks the activity and distribute it back to the user. Yeah, that's important. That's very important, especially for doing business, right? We really have to think about it when we step into the business world, that there's a certain way that people are used to doing things that we have to continue to support, and invoicing is one of them. Sure. So there's some pretty exciting things that are going on that we've actually announced. I don't know which one you want to talk about first. Why don't we talk about the really fun one? All of those Star Trek memes that are coming out of LimeSoda, they're so awesome. And that's your brother's company? Yes,
my brother is one of 3 owners of LimeSoda.
Okay.
LimeSoda is more than 17 years old already. It's a social media and e-commerce company. Basically, it's the leading e-commerce company in Austria and one of the leading social media companies. They are serving clients for years, like Samsung Austria, Toyota Austria, Red Bull, and a lot of Austrian and German brands that you might not know in the US, like one of the biggest supermarket chains, Hofer. They run very, very successful campaigns for them, and they're also really good in e-commerce, as I said, being one of the leading community drivers for Magento webshop systems. So of course they heard about blockchain, and like half a year ago, my brother started to think further what he can do. And most of the Austrian consultants still tell people to go on Ethereum, because most of the consultants don't really care to do research, and the only thing they do is they heard about Ethereum and now they tell everyone to use it.
Right.
But then the first approaches were not that great as they expected. And one day I met Trevin Keith, and we had another appointment with A-Trust at that day. And I asked Trevin to come to LimeSoda before that appointment. So that's to do things in Vienna. And Trevin approached my brother's office. They have a big building in Vienna. And basically my brother is always asking this one question: do you want a coffee, a tea, a Coke, or a gin tonic? And in the 17 years, Trevin was the first person that took the gin tonic on 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And so my brother started immediately to like Trevin a lot.
Okay.
We were talking for an hour about science fiction series and so on, and like the next hour then about art, NXT. And my brother was approaching Trevin some very concrete issues and problems they like to solve in e-commerce with blockchain technology. And Trevin was just writing on the whiteboard. And basically he solved most of the issues my brother was asking Trevin just with talking with him at that moment. And this was the start for LimeSoda to be really big fans of Ardor and NXT. And that's why they did this pre-announcement some days ago. And they like to do two things at the beginning of next year. One is a voting system for the CEOs on the one hand, and on the other hand for the CEOs in combination with their employees, or even in combination with their clients. And they like to use the voting system in two different ways. On the one hand, and there we're going to talk later about A-Trust and the mobile signature. And this comes also here in play, because the main idea is that you log in with your mobile signature. So the system knows that who you are, because you use the digital identity we have as Austrians to log in the system. So you cannot cheat the system with just a simple user and log in. You use the Austrian citizenship card for that. And the system knows who you are. And for some decisions, that could be that the CEOs and the employee, everyone has just like 1 point to give for the voting. Or for more complex decisions, you could say the CTO has 40%, the CEO has 15% voting power. And so still anonymously, they can go for company decisions. And there we have the NXT voting system already, or you can use the Ignis voting system now. So I think it's no big difference. But they connect this for voting. And I think the system itself, if they put it open source somewhere, that might be something that could be really used for a lot of companies to go for the company decisions. On the other hand, as cryptocurrency payment is in e-commerce a big thing. On the one hand, in user interaction and users want to buy with cryptocurrencies, and on the other hand, take the whole logistic chain. So when did the product leave the warehouse to the customer, and so on and so on. So I think those are the two big issues they are going to try to tackle with blockchain technology for e-commerce in Austria.
Sounds very exciting.
And the voting system, I'm sure they're going to deliver quite fast. For the thing, I suggest this is like a 1 to 2 years project. So you're not going to see this really big announcement soon, but you can be sure that they're working on it. And I think good things take time. And so we will see something in maybe end of 2018 or 2019 where they can publish that.
To see a big e-commerce solution applying itself to our blockchain, because there's a lot of e-commerce out there, right?
Of course, yes. And you need to create the plugins, for example, for the Magento webshop and so on, so that people can easily, they don't need to be blockchain experts knowing everything about Ardor, but they can use Ardor blockchain for the purpose they need blockchain technology. I think this is the aim we should go for. Right. And the other project that was really great to do it's the A-Trust municipal project. Basically in Austria, at each city hall or municipal has on certain times to announce information, what's going on in their municipal and so on. And they're doing it at the moment just by publishing PDFs on their own municipal website. Some municipalities are doing a really awesome job. They have really great websites. They are updating this on a regular basis and everything is fine. Other municipalities are, I don't want to blame any municipal officers because I'm sure they're doing an awesome job in their daily life they have to do. But some municipalities still, I think if they get a great tool that makes this process easier for them, they would like to use it.
Mhm.
So our idea is to create a blockchain-based search engine for municipal information. So the officers, for example, from the city of, again, I just say any city in Vienna, let's say Zell am See, the officer is logging to the system with the citizenship card, and the system knows, oh, it's Mr. Meyer. He is the officer for the municipal of Zell am See, and the system allows him to publish official information for the city of Zell am See. And then he's writing the municipal information into the system, and then it's there stored forever, or forever in the sense of how long the other blockchain exists. We hope forever. And it's not changeable after that. So if they have information they want to issue, and then 2 weeks later the mayor of the city says, no, we can't tell that to the people, or we have to change something, they can't because it's on blockchain. I think this is really, really good to make here an unchangeable system.
So permissions will be stored on the blockchain.
Yes.
And can those permissions be changed?
No, because well, if of course someone knows the secret passphrase from the mobile signature, is the owner of the mobile phone of the person,
Mhm.
and so on, then you can of course trick the owner. Like when someone is putting a gun on your head and then you give them your Bitcoin private keys because you don't want to die. This is the way how you could trick the system.
Wow.
But still it's quite secure. But the big thing is for the Austrian citizens. So for example, if you have a flat in Zell am See and one flat in Vienna, and you like to know what's going on in Zell am See, and then you can use the platform as a citizen to get the newest information from your municipal. So what we do with this project, or what A-Trust is doing with this project, is designing one of the first governmental blockchain-based projects in Austria. In Austria, you have an initiative. It's called blockchain. How you call it? Slash? No, not slash. Dash. Dash. The in the middle. Blockchain dash Austria .government.at, and there you see all the new stuff we're doing for the Austrian government, or all projects that are officially conducted by with official funding from the government, so to say. So Austria is trying to be one of the leading European countries in blockchain technologies, and I'm very happy that our government is supporting this approach. So I think those are the two big projects we already announced. Mm-hmm. And the third one for Austria advertising that I was speaking at the beginning, I hope this is something we can do a press release like in 3 or 4 months. This is
oh wow, that's fast.
Yes, so that we're doing this. It's still in a very young stage, but we presented it already at the University of Economics like 3 weeks ago. I think I posted a picture on Twitter, mm-hmm. and now it's in the discussions how much would this cost and who is going to program it and so on and so on. But it looks pretty good that they're going for it, and that Ardor plays a nice part in it. What they really liked from austria.info was this paper or this publication, how you can use Ardor to actually make payments with Bitcoin and other currencies via an other child chain, so to say. Mm-hmm. And this is this was a very good approach, and you can really use Ardor or Ignis in this case maybe, and the shop system from Ignis as the motor that drives this whole idea and the ecosystem built around it.
Yeah, so it is truly going to be an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, and the main idea is for the first year to find one city in Austria for the prototype, so to say, for the first start, where we find partners that accept cryptocurrency payment, And out of this, we create these tokens, as I said at the beginning, the loyalty points for buying these products in the Austrian stores. And on the other hand, we connect with this, the game hub with games around the city and about Austria. And on the third hand, we connect other loyalty systems, for example, the Lower Austria card. So you can exchange your points you have from another classic loyalty system to the blockchain token from based on Ardor. And that again, you can use to go for the unique purchases in Austria.
This sounds like a project that actually could be recreated in cities across the world then.
Yes, if we have the prototype ready and if we show that it's actually working, and then the big goal would be for 2019, 2020 to enlarge the scope step by step. And of course, it's open source, so any other country, any other city that likes to implement it, please go for it. I think we are happy people use the system.
I just wondered, do you have plans then to take it somewhere else or enlarge it yourself?
I think the marketing agencies like marketing Croatia or marketing Malta should simply see that this project worked and they can start it on their own.
Right.
So I don't have to sell anyone the system. I'm happy if we make a running system in Austria and if we are the first ones.
And that's something that's been a valuable contribution that you've made, Alex, is that you have been free with your contribution to the community and your encouragement and saying, hey, look what can be done. Look what I'm doing. You can do this. And that's been very encouraging and inspiring, I think. You've been that force of encouragement. So thank you for that, because it is something that you could be keeping under wraps, all these projects. But
I'm very happy, and I did it independently. So as you know, I'm not working for you. I'm not working for Celerido or for anyone else.
Exactly.
I was just going through the market, what's working. And actually, I was so happy that we got in touch and that Leo is always writing me back when I have questions about my projects. So of course, I tried to get in touch with the foundation bosses from other foundations, and they did not even reply. So I think this is maybe they didn't know who I am, or they didn't trust in my project ideas or whatsoever, or they had no time, or I don't know. But I have this really good feeling in the NXT and other communities, speaking to the developers, speaking to Trevin. He's coming to Austria. We go to the boss of this company. We speak with him. It's all working very, very smoothly and fine. So I feel we have started. Well, you have a family for years, but the NXT family for years. But although I'm just in it for 7 months now, I'm very happy that you accept me as one of your community members, although some might say I'm this newbie.
No, I don't think we could call you a newbie anymore. 7 years in terms of proportion to 4 years, that's not a newbie. And in terms of your contribution, you're not just encouraging us by sharing projects and use cases that maybe we can aspire to or look forward to in the future, but your participation in the conversation about the future and about blockchain. We really do appreciate that, and welcome.
Thank you.
Bring the rest of your friends.
Yes, I will. I brought my brother already.
Yeah.
And Michael Butz, the CEO from A-Trust. So
right, this family has lots of room to grow. So
that's true.
Yeah, well, that's good. So it seems like your whole life right now is more immersed in blockchain maybe than even game studies, although there's that connection there. So you seem very well versed and self-educated in blockchain. Where do you see the future going?
For me, it's like Internet 1994. I approached the Internet the first time in 95. I was in Malta, my most loved country after Austria, and they had an internet terminal at the bowling club there. And the first website I went on was the one from my soccer club. And then in 1997, I did one of the first web shops in Austria. It was my final exams project for a music store. Of course, it was not a web shop how you would see it today. You could make a reservation, for example, that you like to play this and that Fender guitar. beforehand online. And then the
Oh.
owner of the shop called Fender on the phone and said, please bring me the next time this type of guitar because one of my customers want to play it in 1 week. So it was really in slow motion regarding to what we call web shops today.
What we can do today, yeah.
And then also in 1997, with the band I was playing, we made the first level domain website of an Austrian band. So we were really a bad band, although we played some concerts. But we got the press release in a press article in the leading Austrian music magazine because of the website and not because of our music. And this is actually how the company for my brother derived after this article. And that they did this awesome website. But I was too young at that time to join the company of my brother because he's my older brother. But this is how I see blockchain at the moment. Everyone is talking about the .com bubble, of course. So we have a lot of blockchain companies or companies that think that they are a blockchain, like Ripple, for example. And then we have some blockchain-based assets in CoinMarketCap on place number 4 that are just a white paper and not even a running system. So a lot of crazy things are happening for those who are only there for the money aspect. So some will fall on the nose, how we say in Austria, crashing, investing in systems that will not exist in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I'm a conceptionist and not only there for the money or for investing in crazy systems. I think as we had with the .com bubble, the best companies and best ideas, and maybe not even the first movers, will survive. Mm-hmm. So my hope is that Ardor is going to be Google and Ethereum is Alta Vista. Maybe, okay, I know this was very bad. Sorry, Ethereum friends. But
we don't know this yet, but there's possibility.
Sometimes you have to troll a little bit in a funny way to motivate even people. And a lot of projects actually that are now conducted on blockchain make not even sense to do them on blockchain. So what I'm also doing as consulting people is please don't do this and put this on blockchain. Use a normal database. It's working and it's fine. But there is this big fight of the crowd, of the public, of the people that want to use blockchain-based currencies and systems for payment. And then we have a couple of very powerful people that don't even know what blockchain is and that they are not sure if they are or against it. And this is the fight we're going to see the next 2 or 3 years. I'm very happy to live in Austria. I'm very happy to work a lot with countries like Malta and Luxembourg. Those are all countries that are in favor of blockchain, even from the politicians' side. My perspective is that all projects we are starting at the moment, funded by governmental money, funded and so on, have a time range of 2 to 4 years.
Okay.
So I think the big question is blockchain here to stay actually will be in 3 years from now. After all those fundings have been over, after all those projects, and if this is just me, and so I think there are thousands of other people getting funding all over the world to make such projects. If we deliver the projects, if they make sense, if they are usable, if the politicians, the companies, and the users are happy with it, like we are with the internet at the moment, and buying something on Amazon, it will be here to stay. And if in 4 years we say it absolutely makes no sense to use blockchain technology, then maybe we go back to fax machines or to the good old internet.
Oh no, please. That's a horror story.
That's a horror story. You know, I like fax machines still. So for some purposes.
Okay. I gave mine up a long time ago.
No,
I mean, but I give email up.
But I think it's one of the most exciting times to jump on blockchain technology, like with the Ardor start in 1 day and 6 hours. To start building applications, not to be afraid of it. The best learning comes from failure. So if you make 2 or 3 projects that are not being the big rockets for your company or what you thought of it, make a 4th one, and this is going to work.
And I was going to ask you for some words of wisdom, and maybe that
was my word of wisdom. Yes. So just build on it. Don't try to crash the blockchain itself, but as you do it on a child chain, you will not crash Ardor itself.
And we do have our NXT blockchain creation kit too.
Kit, of course, where you can do the experiments. Yes.
Yeah. So So yes, it has been a very big pleasure to talk to you, to hear a little summary. That was a lot of stuff we covered, but at least we all got a little hint about the projects that you're working on and have ideas for. And I imagine we're going to stay in close touch and watch those all come to fruition in their own time. And you said one of them might be in a few months.
Yeah, we're going to meet each other hopefully in August when you come over. But yeah. I'm sure we can show pieces of the project month by month, so to keep the crowd informed on Facebook or on Twitter, and to see that we are not just blah, blah, blahing, but that there's real stuff behind everything. Maybe one last thing that is really exciting, it's from my colleague Thomas Wernbacher, and this is going to be called the Bike Coin, and it will be also Cello Reader will be part of the consortium. We go for a big funding, so it's knock on the, or how you say,
knock on wood.
Cross your fingers that we get it. So it's a on proposal stage, but it's a really good proposal. And the idea is to reward Austrian citizens like for walking or for using the bicycle that they drive to work. Okay. And with that, we also try to experiment using Samsung smartphones as full nodes for Ardor. So is it possible to run on the bike and have your phone attached and still be connected to the internet and validate transactions? But like the thing we build around it is that we reward Austrians for healthy behavior with the health coin or the bike coin, and that they can redeem for a massage or for a wellness club and so on.
Something that's a health-related reward.
Yes, and this is also like when we started the conversation, this is like the combination of gamification and blockchain technology and health, and from the technological perspective, mobile phones as proof of stake nodes. So I think that I wanted to introduce this project also from my friend Thomas, because I think it's a very exciting another approach, and it's still the proposal at the moment, but we are really good in writing such proposals. So I hope.
You hope it goes.
I hope we can talk about it in some months also.
I do too, because it's really interesting. You know, when we think about gamification and we think about blockchain, sometimes we don't always, we can't always put all those big pieces together in a practical and a rewarding way. So you're demonstrating these to us has really helped, and we can get excited about this, you know, rewarding practical good behavior like health habits. I think that's good. Very good. So, well, let's keep an eye on that Genesis block. It's coming up soon.
Yes, it's coming up soon. My node is running, so I hope
my node is all white. I'm going to have to try, but I'm trying to do tech in between all of this stuff. So I might have to
you have time. You have time. You have more than 24 hours to press the forging button. So no.
Yeah,
no
good. I'll do this again, but I'm excited to get that installed. So
let's hope that we find one of the first 100 blocks.
Pardon me?
Let's hope that one of us is going to find the first blocks.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Wow, I was block number 15. Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if somebody's going to post it or something.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see who that is. I hadn't thought of that. Well, that's exciting. Happy New Year to you and your family.
Happy New Year.
And to all of the friends that you work with, and inspire. Keep being a leader in this.
I will. Thank you for having me on the show and seeing me as one of the 30 guys you wanted to have on the show. I'm very proud of this. And keep on the good work, Elizabeth.
Well, thank you for being here. We'll see you later. Bye.
See you later. Goodbye.